In a previous video, I added all of these extra electronics and rocker switches to go with this. The rocker switches I chose to go with were all blue LED indicators, and the factory switches are all orange. So it may be difficult to see for this video, it's obviously daytime, but there's a stark contrast between the aftermarket blue LEDs and just the factory, what I think are kind of generic, utilitarian looking orange LED rocker switches. I've scoured the internet to try to find somebody who makes the switches with a blue LED in them, just switch them out, and I could not find anything anywhere that matched Can-Am's configuration for the plug and the positions of the wiring and all that. So, path of least resistance for what I want. I think I'm going to pull the switches apart. I did buy new rocker switch faces. I actually had a website that I found that custom makes rocker switch covers, and I'm going to try to pull these apart, change the LED bulbs inside them from orange to blue. Hopefully I don't destroy them in the process, but I guess we'll see what happens. So I've got just the high and the low beam switch pulled out. I figure if I take care of the switches just one at a time, there's less chance of me maybe destroying it. Ooh, it's under a ton of tension. So yeah, there's springs in here. Slowly, gently, carefully apart. Sweet. All the springs stayed in. Okay, so on the inside, I know it's going to be super difficult to see. That's the switch itself. Those are the LEDs. I know polarity does matter significantly, so I'm going to have to make sure that I pull these amber or orange LEDs out of here and make sure I get the right polarity for the new blue LEDs that I'm putting in. Gosh, I hope they're the right size. Oh. So the LEDs themselves actually have little clips that retain the bulb in the housing. Ooh, look at that. So let's see if 5mm was a good eyeball. God, it looks right. Okay. So I've got both blue LEDs replaced. The amber or orange LEDs are pulled out. I think I've got the polarity correct because positive and negative does make a significant difference on LEDs. So I'll put it back together and test it out. I've got the LEDs replaced now and I tested it. They do work, they both illuminate. So the faceplate, I'm gonna try to change that out. Okay, not bad. Dang dirty. Uh-oh. Okay, so I popped the switch cover back on and I didn't pay attention to which way was up or down when I took it off. I guessed, plugged it in, tested it out, and it was correct. So the high beam turns on when I hit the high beam side. That's great. There was a lot of work going into this. I did actually have to pull a diagram so I could figure out which way was positive and negative with the switches, and that actually helped me with indicating which way the LED needed to go. They are positive, negative specific, so that was very helpful. Something I'm gonna do, so moving on to the next one is gonna be the 4x4 switch. An issue that I had was knowing which way the connector went back and forth together. So I'm just gonna take a Sharpie marker and I'm gonna draw a line as an index across that. That way I know that side, this direction, is always gonna be lined up. So I've just taken apart the Sport and Eco switch. This one is completely different. So this is a green and an orange indicator, green and orange LED. And I like the green. The green is actually super cool. But what I'm seeing here, so this is actually wired in a loop where there's only one positive and negative circuit in the switch itself. And they've got, this one actually has resistors in line. I did buy LEDs that came with resistors, but all of the other switches have not had any resistors. They've just had LEDs. So I've just replaced the LED bulb themselves. So I've got the switch peeled apart. I've got the amber LED pulled out. I've left the green LED inside there. I think my safest course of action is actually to cut out the orange LED, and I'm gonna solder in one of the blue LEDs instead. Now I've got all the switches back in, they're popped back into their socket. Turn on the key, cross my fingers. They all light up. Awesome. One thing that I noticed when I was testing earlier, so the sport and eco mode switch that I've got here, so the eco mode is still green on the bottom and blue for the sport mode, but the blue is so bright. All of these, with these LEDs I put in here, they're so incredibly bright. I'm a little bit nervous that they're gonna be way brighter than the other switches. As well, you can't see, or at least in the daytime here, I can't see that that's even green because the blue is so incredibly bright. The other thing that I noticed, so the factory Wench switch, it just had one indicator on the top, and so there's no light for the bottom portion of the Wench switch. I don't know if that's going to be a problem for me or not. For right now, I'm not going to change it. Too much work, time, effort, and energy. But so far, I'm happy. Try it out tonight, see what I really think.